Welcome back to the CryptoWorld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now there's potentially a new signal flashing on the chart that we need to pay attention to, because this signal can reveal where the price of Bitcoin is about to head next. So I'll be talking about that later in this video and so much more, so definitely stick around. First of all, just quickly talking about the latest Federal Reserve interest rate hike, because in case you haven't heard already, just yesterday, the Federal Reserve hiked interest rates by another 75 basis points or 0.75%. And this now brings the federal funds rate up to 4%, which is the highest we've seen in a very long time. And now, obviously, if you watched any of my last two videos here on this channel, you will know that that 75 basis point hike was the most likely outcome for the latest Fed meeting. And so it wasn't very surprising seeing that 75 basis point hike at the latest Fed meeting. And as for what the market was pricing in, the majority of the futures market was already pricing in a 75 basis point hike. But some of the market, roughly around 10% of the market, was pricing in only a 50 basis point hike, which meant as soon as that 75 basis point hike actually happened, then that small portion of the market that was only pricing in just a 50 basis point hike had to immediately readjust and price in that higher 75 basis point hike rather than the 50 basis points. And so once again, like I explained in more detail in my last two videos, what that meant for markets is that when we got that 75 basis point hike, we experienced some more bearish price action across markets, across the stock market and the crypto markets. But that bearish price action was not an extreme move to the downside, at least not for crypto, as I also explained in my last two videos for this outcome. And I'll talk more about the crypto market in just a moment, but first giving you a quick update on the future Fed meeting probabilities, starting off with the next Fed meeting, which is in around the middle of December, so in roughly around 1.5 months from now. And based on what the futures market is currently pricing in at the time of recording this video, there's almost a 50-50 chance between a 50 basis point hike and a 75 basis point hike. So once again, roughly around half of the market is currently expecting a 50 basis point hike at the December Fed meeting, which is the next Fed meeting. And the other half of the market is currently expecting another 75 basis point hike at the next Fed meeting in December. And now, simply based on what the majority of the futures market is currently pricing in, rates are set to peak at around March next year in the March Fed meeting. And once again, based on what the majority is currently pricing in, they're set to peak at around 5.25% or 525 basis points. And so basically what that means is that the majority in the futures market has already priced in another 125 basis points worth of interest rate hikes. So another 1.25% of interest rate hikes. But anyway, as time goes on and as we get closer to the next Fed meeting in December, I'll be sure to update you on all of this again towards then. And so if you haven't done so already, make sure you scroll down below this video and subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos. And of course, doing that costs you nothing, so why not? But anyway, now getting into the stock market part of this video, this right here is the Nasdaq 100 index on the daily time frame. And so far today, we've seen the US stock market open up below yesterday's daily candle close, which also was below this important range of support coming into play in between around 11,000 and 11.2k. And so due to the fact that we now have a daily candle close below 11,000 for the Nasdaq 100 index, this technically means that we have confirmed a break below this support, which obviously is a bearish signal. This is not good for the Nasdaq 100 index as of right now. And so right now, this previous range of support at around 11,000 to 11.2k could now be acting as resistance if we see a bit of a rebound here. And our final point of support for the Nasdaq 100 index as of right now until the next leg lower is of course the local lows, which are sitting at around 10.4k to 10.5k for the Nasdaq 100 index. Once again, that's basically the final point of support here before the stock market potentially begins the next leg to the downside. And now what is really interesting is that currently the Nasdaq 100 index is trading below the June lows. In fact, this is not the first time this has happened. And in case you're wondering, this low right here is the June low, and that was the time in the market where we saw a massive massive crash during June, and then markets basically hit a low and entered into a significant bullish relief all the way up until around the middle of August. This was true for both the stock market and the crypto markets. But once again, what is really interesting is that since that June low, the Nasdaq 100 index has already broken below that June low, not once, not twice, but now 3 times. We originally saw the Nasdaq 100 index briefly drop below the June low towards the end of September, and then again during October, and now again during November. And now you might be wondering what is so interesting about this, and what is interesting is that the price of Bitcoin has not broken below the June low at all as of right now. And why this is interesting is because the crypto market and the stock market, specifically the Nasdaq 100 index, which are the tech stocks, are historically very correlated, which means if we see a lot of bearish price action in the stock market, we're very likely going to see a lot of bearish price action in the crypto market, and vice versa. If the stock market is bullish, then we're likely going to see a bullish crypto market. And so once again, it's just interesting to see the Nasdaq 100 index break below the June low on 3 separate occasions now, all while the price of Bitcoin has yet to actually break below the June low at all. And so relatively speaking, when you're comparing the Bitcoin price to the Nasdaq 100 index, for example, then you can see that Bitcoin has actually been holding up very well, especially just in the last few months, as it has so far been avoiding a break below the June lows. But anyway, in terms of the price trend and the momentum at the moment on the daily Bitcoin chart, this hasn't really changed since my last video. So if you're new to the channel and you want to know more about that, then check out my last video here on this channel. But anyway, just zooming straight into the shorter term, taking a look at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart. Right now, the price of Bitcoin is currently trading below this Fibonacci level of support, which is sitting at roughly around 20.3k approximately. And in fact, from what we've seen over the last 1 day, this is now acting as a bit of short-term resistance, once again at just above 20.3k. And as for some support levels, right now the price of Bitcoin is currently finding some support at around this previous local low, which is sitting at almost exactly $20,000 per Bitcoin as some short-term support. But anything below that level, then I'll be looking closer towards around 19.7 to 19.8k. Anything below that, then I'll be looking closer towards around 19.1k, then around 18.7k if the prior support levels get broken first. And as for resistance, once again, we do have a bit of short-term resistance at just above 20.3k, but above that level, then I'll be looking towards around 20.9k to 21k, which is some strong resistance for the price of Bitcoin at the moment. And now in terms of the price trend itself, technically speaking, this is currently looking more neutral rather than bullish or bearish, because if you're simply looking at the most recent highs and lows, we have almost exactly horizontal highs and almost exactly horizontal lows. And so once again, just based on the price action alone, this is looking more neutral rather than bullish or bearish. But if you're looking at the 4-hour Bitcoin price oscillators, as of right now, these are still looking slightly more bearish above anything else, because for example, the histogram within the MACD indicator is still in the red as the MACD itself is trending to the downside. And we're also currently seeing a downtrend in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI, which is signaling bearish momentum in the imminent short term. And so basically the situation at the moment for the price of Bitcoin is looking more neutral to bearish. And so while the 4-hour Bitcoin price oscillators are still currently looking like this, then I would still be expecting some slight bearish price action in the imminent short term as the most likely scenario moving forward, potentially over the next day or so. But if you take a closer look at the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI, right now this is potentially on the edge of a breakout. And if we end up seeing a confirmed breakout in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI, then this would basically signal that this bearish momentum is going away, and we could see a return in some short-term bullish momentum, kind of like this move just here. But I want to make it clear that at least as of right now, at the time of recording this video, this potential breakout in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI has not yet been confirmed, because we still need to see at least a 4-hour candle close with the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI above this descending line of resistance, which is currently sitting at around 44 to 45 in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this right here is the daily Ethereum to US dollar chart, and right now this chart hasn't really changed all that much over the last 1 day. And so once again, as of right now, based on all of these signals on the daily Ethereum chart, I am still currently comparing this move to this previous move that we saw back in July after that breakout. And once again, if you want to know more information about what is actually going on here on the daily Ethereum chart, then check out my last video on this channel, because in that video, I went into much more detail about this chart right here. But anyway, zooming into the shorter term, taking a look at the 4-hour Ethereum to US dollar chart, and right now the price of ETH is currently trading slightly below this golden pocket. And in fact, as of recording this video, this is currently acting as a bit of short-term resistance, which is currently coming into play at around 1550 to 1560. And as for some short-term support levels, right now we have support at around 1480, around 1410, around 1330, and around 1280. And now in terms of the price trend itself, technically speaking, this is currently looking more bullish than anything else just in the short term, because technically the price is still currently forming higher highs and higher lows as I've recorded this video. So that is technically an uptrend, a bullish trend. But just in the more imminent short term, as in what could happen over the coming hours, maybe over the coming day, based on what we're seeing in the 4-hour Ethereum price oscillators, these are still currently showing some short-term bearish momentum, which means we could still potentially play out a little bit more of this short-term cool-off that has been playing out over the last few days. But once again, these can still occur within a bullish trend, just like how we can sometimes see some immediate short-term bullish price action during a bearish trend. And so as of right now, that's basically the situation that we are in right now, just a short-term cool-off within a slightly larger bullish trend. But remember, this is all happening only on the 4-hour time frame. And so even though this might look like a large bullish trend on the 4-hour chart, when you zoom out to the daily chart, then we can see that this bullish trend, at least as of right now, is not all that big relative to the daily time frame. And now if you want to know how to make a lot of profit in crypto, whether the price is going up, down, or simply chopping around sideways, then make sure to check out these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left of your screen shows you how to make money if the price is either trending bullish or bearish, and the video in the bottom left of your screen shows you how to make money in crypto if the price is chopping around sideways. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.